King Ray Ray in this bitch. Ha! How do I convince myself of the benefits of living a life that's pleasing to the Most High? Because I see the benefits every day of living a life that's pleasing to my flesh. My brethren show it to me. They drop it on my head. I can't resist it. I can't deny it. I can't get away from it. It is dogging me, Dr. POA. What can I do? And I told those young brothers, I said, you know what, young brothers, I am you. Your life now was my life then. And so I said, y'all tune in to the show this week, man. Y'all don't have to say nothing. Y'all don't even have to let people know you're in there. You don't have to like it or nothing. I just want you to tune in. And I'll be on at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I told them, like I tell you all the time, I'll be on CP time, so give me to 12:15 and then I'll be there. So I said, man, I wanted to create a show today. Today we're going to discuss the benefits of living a life that's pleasing to the Most High. We ain't going to even talk about being a godly man or a righteous man or any of that. We're going to talk about not the title, but the actions of your life and how they benefit you. And as you know, as I always do, we will be taking our scripture from the book of Proverbs. Whenever we talk about the way of living righteous, no other book in here tells you more about the righteous life than the book of Proverbs. And these things have come to pass in my very own life. So let's get into this, man. Again, I appreciate everybody for being here. If you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and hit the like button. You know what I deliver. So let's jump into this, man. Now, we could have started from the beginning of the book of Proverbs. But you know what? There are so many great scriptures and passages and verses in the book of Proverbs. I said, let's just jump in. You know what I said? I said, you know what? I'm just going to pick a number. And the number that I'm going to pick, 13. So we're going to start at Proverbs 13, and we're going to go through the 6th verse and the 13th verse. Proverbs 13, verse 6 says, righteousness keepeth him that is upright in the way, but wickedness overthroweth the sinner. Righteousness keepeth him. Now, what does keepeth him mean? It means that you are protected by the shield of armor of the Most High as long as you live an upright life. Now, what is your proof in this? Because there aren't many upright men around you, just like there aren't many upright men around me. But I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you from experience, I'm telling you from my own life, that living an upright life has kept me through a whole lot of things where other men weren't kept. A whole lot of times I was in a scenario that could have ended the wrong way for me, but guess what? The evil man was left in my stead. Instead of me being trapped in that environment, the evil man was left in my stead. He took that punishment. The world is filled with punishments for men and their activities. And there is no guarantee that you're not going to be in that environment. But even when you are in that environment, your righteousness and the uprightness of your ways will protect you from anything that man or the enemy of your success can bring to you. Chapter 13. Verse 13, chapter 13 says, whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed, but he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. What is that reward? Because you can get rewards in the world. You can go out into the world and you can sell drugs and you can poison people. You can do all of these things. You can oppress the poor. You can take from people. You can kill people. You can do whatever you want to do and get rewards of the world. So what's this great reward? This great reward that becomes him who feareth the commandment. It is the one thing that money can't buy. The one thing that the world can't give you. The one thing that no amount of random sex with random scallywags will give you. The one thing that no amount of alcohol, no amount of weed blowing, no amount of pill popping will give you. And that is peace of mind, brothers. See, most men don't understand peace of mind because they're constantly self-medicating to deal with the issues of their life. Rich men, poor men, white men, black men, all men are constantly self-medicating to deal with the issues of their lives because they don't understand peace of mind. With peace of mind, there are no issues of your life. Nothing bothers you. Nothing moves you to the left or the right. Nothing stresses you out. Nothing worries you half to death. Nothing makes you want to drink till you can't drink anymore. Nothing makes you want to smoke weed until you pass out. Nothing makes you want to pop pills until you become numb. You are already numb with peace of mind. If righteousness gives you nothing else, it gives you the greatness, the great reward of peace of mind, man. Man, listen, brothers, if you have never lived a life with peace of mind, I am telling you, it is the only stress-free, worry-free life. Listen, if you got $100, you don't worry about it. If you got $1 million, you don't worry about it. When you got peace of mind, you don't worry about nothing. Every day is a holiday. Every day is paradise. I'm talking about every single day, man. So you got to do everything in your life to move yourself into a space where you can have peace of mind. Those people who are around you that are depriving you of that ability, or depriving you of that capacity, you got to eliminate those people. If you're in an environment that causes you to not be able to have that, you got to leave that environment. I don't care what you got to leave behind, or who you got to leave behind, or what you got to move on without. You owe yourself that, man. Let's go back to Proverbs 12. Proverbs 12, verse 2. A good man obtaineth favor of the Lord, but a man of wicked devices will he condemn. Now let's look around ourselves and let's think about all the men who look like they've got it the way we want it, the way we would want it, were we not elect enough to see the error of the ways of the men of the world and strive to become men of God. Think about it. A good man obtaineth favor of the Lord. And I tell you something about favor of the Lord. When a man's ways pleaseth God, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. So you find me a man that's constantly going back and forth with a whole bunch of men, and a whole bunch of men don't like him, and see, all of us can be the object of the arrows from the enemies of our success. But when that is constantly your life, when it is constantly your life, that people encampeth round about you, man, and try to destroy you every damn day, or when you find the need to have to jump on people every day, you're not a man who have obtained the favor of the Lord. You simply are not. Let's talk about Proverbs 12, verse 21. Let's go to verse 21. There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. Now see, this verse goes all the way back to the book of Deuteronomy, where the Most High was telling the Israelites, hey, if you live by these laws, there shall no evil come upon you. None of the curses and ailments that happened in Egypt, that happened to Egypt, will happen to you if you live by my word. And here we go again, all the way in the book of Proverbs. There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. Mischief in this instance means trouble. The wicked shall be filled with mischief. Your life shall be troubled. Every time you turn a corner, there shall be some trouble there. There's always somebody that's in your way. There's always some opportunity that you can't get. There's always somebody that's doing everything in their power to stop you. But all you got to do is change and live a life that's pleasing to the Most High. All of these things are gifts of living a life that's pleasing to the Most High. This is all you have to do, man. This is all you have to do. It's not a very difficult thing, man. You just have to start thinking, like I always say, stop thinking with your five senses and think with your sixth sense. Your sixth sense is that second vision, that third eye vision, that spiritual man. Your flesh will die, but your spirit will not. So why in the hell are you protecting your flesh if it means sacrificing your spirit? If you're going to protect something to sacrifice something else, protect your spirit to sacrifice your flesh. Sacrifice your flesh to protect your spirit. You cannot do it backwards. You cannot sacrifice your spirit to protect your flesh, because every day your flesh is disintegrating. I don't care how well you take care of your body. Every day your flesh is getting older. It's getting beat on more and more by this environment, by the chemicals in this environment, by the chemicals in the food, by the chemicals in the water, by the negative energy in this environment. I don't care how well you take care of your flesh. It is going to continually disintegrate over your lifespan. But that spirit of yours is the only part of your body you can strengthen as you get older and more mature. So what are you focusing on? Let's go to chapter 12, verse 26. And it says, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. So all of this, we're all the same. No, hell, we're not. If I wake up every day and live a life that's pleasing to the Most High, I am better than a man who doesn't. The Most High views me as better than that man. I don't have to view that man as my equal. He's not my equal. I am more excellent if I'm righteous. If I strive for righteousness, I am more excellent than my neighbor who does not. You know, wickedness is all about seduction, man. It's just all about seduction. If you can be seduced by greed, you can be seduced by lust. Seduction is seduction. We call it an addictive personality, but all addictions ain't got nothing to do with drugs or gambling. You understand? You can have an addiction to murder. You can have an addiction to adultery. See, you got two kinds of people, brothers. You got people who go into the word searching for righteousness, and you got people who go into the word seeking things that they can refute and dispute. You got people who are equipped with the knowledge of science, and they come with their science in order to refute the word of the Most High, in order to dispute the word of the Most High, in order to dilute the word of the Most High. That's why they come. I ain't got no science. I don't deal with science. I let them have science. I'm a simple man. You understand what I'm saying? There are some men who love science. Let them love it. There are some men who love astrology. Let them love it. There are some men who love the chakra and all that. Let them love it. I just love the word of the Most High, man. I just love the statutes and commandments. I don't love nothing else. All that other crap, keep it to yourselves. That's your thing, man. Do that if you want to. Going hard after other guys was never called adultery. It was called fornication. It was called whoredom. It was called being a whoremonger. Spiritual whoremongering. Spiritual whoredoms. But let's continue, because I didn't come on here to dispute some guys' words or whatever the hell they want to say. Guys can say whatever they want to say. I don't care. Let's get to Proverbs 15. Let's get back on track. Proverbs 15, verse 9. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness. The Lord don't even request that you be a 100% righteous man. That's why he gave the Israelites stipulations by how they should sacrifice if they sin. He knew man would sin. But sinning and living in sin is two different ways of life. We're all going to get caught up at some point. The difference between the man who cares and the man who doesn't, the righteous man feels terrible after he goes against the word of the Most High. The wicked man doesn't even know the word of the Most High. And if he does know it, he refutes it. You know the worst kind of man in the world? It's not the man who doesn't know the word of the Most High. And even if he doesn't care to know, it's not him. It's the man that knows the word of the Most High and still chooses to go against it. That man is wicked. A man who does not know, he's a sinner. He lives in sin, but he is not a wicked man. A wicked man is a man who looks at the Most High and says, I don't care what you say, I'm going to do what I want to do. For whatever reason. If it's because of science, is it because of religion, whatever the hell it's because of. If it's because of anything, you're still a wicked man. And that's just the bottom line. Chapter 15, verse 16. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. Now, this is the part we get into that young brothers and some older men, they have the biggest problem with. See, when you hear me say better is little with fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith, they think the Lord says you're supposed to be poor. He's not saying you're supposed to be poor. He's saying you can be as rich as you want to be as long as you get it in a righteous way. There is no limit to how many riches you can have. There is no limit to how much success you can have. As long as you do it from a righteous perspective, it's yours. What this verse is saying, that it is better to have a little and be righteous than to have a lot and be evil. It's simply saying that. Go get what's yours out there. But do it with the Most High in your mind and your spirit. Let's go to chapter 15, verse 27. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts shall live. Now let's break that verse down right there. Let's go to the hood and think about the mindset of the people against the snitch, the informant, the guy who takes payoff, whether the payoff is less time or exoneration on his behalf or money. how does that man life end in that environment? He either has to get the hell away or they're going to take him out. Because that is a man who is greedy of gain, and he troubleth his own house. Let's get to Proverbs chapter 16, man. We're going to talk about chapter 16, verse 2. Again, I appreciate everybody being in the joint today, man, for the God Body Podcast with the good Reverend Dr. BOA. Chapter 16, verse 2. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. Your spirit is what matters. I just told you earlier, man, protect your spirit, even if you got to sacrifice your body. God measures your spirit. He looks at a man's spirit. He looks at the spirit of a man. He wants to know who you are in your soul. He wants to know who you are at the foundation of who you are as a man. So, of course, we all can think we're clean. We all can think we're great. Like there are some men with amazing physiques, man, who eat pork all the damn time. Pork, seafood, a whole bunch of other things. But they think their ways are clean. Why? Because they can still have an amazing physique eating that stuff. That stuff ain't about your physique. That stuff is about your spirit. It's about spiritual abomination. Of course, it'll defile your body. It may not defile the way your body looks, but I guarantee you it'll defile your body in some kind of way. Thus saith the word of the Lord. These things will defile your body. But you see what I'm saying? You see how a man can justify his disdainment for spiritual things by proclaiming that they benefit him in the physical world. Now, let's go to chapter 6, verse 6 rather. Chapter 16, verse 6. By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. Let's talk about that. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And depending on what some Bibles say knowledge, some Bibles say wisdom, but wisdom, understanding, and knowledge all go together. So if you get wisdom from something, you get knowledge from it, you get understanding from it. But fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. We know that. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. We know that. Now, if fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, and by fear of the Lord men depart from evil, I don't want to hear nothing the man got to say if he hasn't departed from evil, because he has no wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Because fear of the Lord do both of those things. Fear of the Lord make you depart from evil, and fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So if you don't depart from evil, you can't talk to me. You're just somebody that's running your mouth, yapping. That's all you're doing. You just a cat out here that like to hear yourself talk, and you got a few hundred or a few thousand people that like to hear you talk too. But it's a simple thing. So just remember that fear of the Lord represents those two things. If you don't fear the Lord enough to move away from wickedness, to depart from evil, then you don't fear the Lord enough to have knowledge. You don't know nothing. Because there is a principle that we must stand on as men of the Most High. We can't worry about what white folk do and Asian folk do and Hispanic folk do. And we can't worry about none of that. We got to worry about what we're supposed to do as black men. That's what we got to be worried about. Let's go to verse 28. A froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separated chief friends. Let's talk about that. A froward man soweth strife. Think about that. How many people in your life are always keeping some up between people? Are always running back and forth between people, creating animosity between men. Creating animosity between themselves and men. Always spewing venom about people. Always telling this person what that person said, even though this person told them that in confidence. And if they have to, they'll switch the words up some to make it have even a worse effect for the person that they're telling. They'll add a lie or two to it to spruce it up a little bit. How many people do you know like that around you, man? A whisperer, which is one of those secretive persons that's always telling somebody something. The type of person that'll have a group of people talking about your ass, then when you walk in the room, they all be quiet. They didn't all start that conversation. One person started it. But you looking at everybody in the room like they was in there talking about me. Hey, man, people talk. You got to find the person who started the conversation. That's the enemy of your success right there. That's the enemy of your success. See, these are things that we deal with all of the time, brothers. We deal with this all of the time. Let's go to 31. The hoary head, which is gray. The gray head is a crown of glory, if it be found in the way of righteousness. Let me tell you something, man. You ain't supposed to listen to everybody that's older than you. If you look at that man, you know he ain't living righteous. You know good and well that you ain't got no business listening to him. I don't care how old he is. Everybody that's older than you ain't your OG. Everybody that's older than you ain't your spiritual advisor. Everybody that's older than you ain't wiser than you. Only a righteous man that's older than you has the right to be viewed from that perspective. A man who speaks to you about the way of the Most High. A man who speaks to you about the results of living in the ways of the Most High. Now, I'm not going to say we're going to be no holy rollers around here. Hey, because I'm a man too. I'm a man just like you. And I have my particular vices. But the bottom line is this right here. I'm not going to let them dominate me.